an outstanding coach. All right? But why the hell isn't he putting Shedeur Sanders? We're all waiting.
Rex Ryan just got himself in hot water. Again, the man's mouth might have finally written a check his job couldn't cash after his explosive rant about Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders lit up every corner of the internet. During Monday's Get Up, Rex went nuclear on live TV, straight up calling Sanders an embarrassment, and that clip spread like wildfire. Fans were furious, players clapped back, and even Sanders' own family jumped into the chaos, calling Ryan's outburst straight-up disrespect. The whole sports world was spinning. It all kicked off after Sanders' ESPN Cleveland interview last week, where he confidently said he's ready to compete for a starting NFL spot. His exact words, "If you see the quarterbacks playing in the league right now, I know I'm capable of doing better than that." Boom, that one line detonated across the sports universe like a grenade. But instead of breaking down tape or analyzing potential, Rex chose violence. Verbally, that is, and went off during Get Up like it was a personal mission. He mocked Sanders' confidence, crossed his arms, and sneered, "Something's missing with this kid. This kid talks and runs his mouth like he said, 'I can be a starting quarterback.'" Then, in full teacher discipline mode, Rex leaned forward and shouted, "Get your ass in the front row and study. Quit being an embarrassment." The energy was straight chaos, red-faced, veins popping, full-on meltdown mode. But here's the kicker. The backlash hit harder than a linebacker blitz. Fans flooded social media, tearing into Rex for crossing the line, saying it wasn't criticism anymore, it was humiliation. Even former players chimed in, calling it a cheap shot at a young guy who's still trying to prove himself. At the time of the rant, Sanders wasn't even the starter. He was sitting third on Cleveland's depth chart, behind veteran Joe Flacco and rookie Dylan Gabriel. Yet somehow he's the one catching the smoke. The internet had spoken, loud and clear. Nobody was here for grown men clowning a young player just trying to grind his way up. Fans weren't having it, and social media turned into a battlefield defending Shedeur Sanders' name. But just when you thought things couldn't get any messier, boom, chaos level unlocked. Joe Flacco got benched, Dylan Gabriel slid into the starting spot, and Shedeur, he stayed sitting tight at number 3, still watching, still waiting, still grinding in silence. Then the real storm rolled in, and it had mom energy. Shedeur's mother, Shedeur Sanders, decided enough was enough. She came in swinging on Instagram with a post so fiery, it scorched the internet before she deleted it.
And study and do all that. If I know, the whole league knows. Quit being an embarrassment that way. You got the talent to be the quarterback. You should be. You should be embarrassed that you're not the quarterback now.
To young athletes and football fans, she wrote, "This is what impotent, cancerous, envious energy looks like." And didn't stop there. This type of evil goes way back, embedded in blood and bones, seeping through all the rotting wormholes it has. That wasn't just shade. That was a total eclipse. Pilar demanded accountability, asking, what and who does he really represent? His family and peers should be embarrassed to know and let this on their platforms. There's no room for this type in sports. Boom! That post detonated across timelines faster than a touchdown highlight. Fans, athletes, and media pages reposted it everywhere, turning her words into a full-blown cultural moment. And just when the dust started to settle, came the twist no one saw coming. During Wednesday's post-practice media session, Shedeur Sanders walked up to the podium, cameras flashing, reporters ready for answers. Many said nothing. Instead, he mimed every single response, silent, calm, unbothered. Reporters sat frozen, jaws dropped, watching a masterclass in silent defiance. Team officials later told ESPN's Adam Schefter that Shedeur's silent act wasn't random. It was a direct shot at Rex Ryan's fiery rant. Within hours, the clip blew up, racking in millions of views under the hashtag #SilentStand. Fans couldn't get enough. To them, it wasn't just a stunt, it was a statement. A young quarterback refusing to clap back with words, instead choosing silence as his weapon. The message was loud without a single sound. I don't need to talk. I'll let my game do the talking. As debates flooded timelines, one person stayed calm in the storm. His father, Coach Prime himself, Deion Sanders. The Hall of Famer didn't post a long essay or go on a rant. Nope, he just dropped one single emoji on X. Shh. That's it. One tiny shh that broke the internet. Fans went crazy. Some said it was a masterclass in subtle shade. Others called it the most powerful move of the week. It was double impact. A father's silent support and a clean jab right at Rex Ryan's meltdown. But behind the scenes, ESPN wasn't laughing. Sources told reporters that early Wednesday morning, Rex got summoned to a disciplinary meeting. Executives didn't waste time. They confronted him face to face about crossing the line. They weren't mad about him being bold. They were furious that he took it too far, turning an on-air opinion into personal humiliation. By the afternoon, ESPN had dropped an official statement, and that's exactly what went down when Rex Ryan returned to Get Up that Friday. And man, you could feel the tension. The studio was thick with awkward silence, cameras rolling, co-hosts staring like they were waiting for an explosion. But instead, Rex walked in calm, collected, and for once, humble. He looked straight into the camera and said, "Before we start today's show, I want to address something. Last week, I spoke about Shedeur Sanders in a way that was unfair. I crossed from critique into disrespect."
The time when Rex Ryan is coming back saying the same thing that had you slide in the draft to begin with.
That's not who I want to be. Shedeur, if you're watching, keep proving people wrong. You've got talent, kid. Show it. Boom. Apology delivered. Live. No script. No edits. The internet erupted. Some fans actually gave Rex credit for owning up to it, saying it took real guts to apologize in front of millions. But others weren't so forgiving. They flooded comment sections calling the apology too soft and damage control, arguing that after all that yelling, a calm sorry didn't cut it. Still, the clip racked up views, debates flared, and once again, Shedeur Sanders' name was trending across every platform. But Shedeur, not a word. The man stayed laser-focused, eyes on the grind, letting the game talk louder than any microphone ever could. After that now iconic silent interview broke the internet, Shedeur finally cracked the silence, just barely, during Thursday's brief press chat. He kept it cool and respectful, saying, I respect the game. I'm just here to work. Sometimes silence can be louder than words. That line, instant classic. Fans called it poetic, mature, and boss-level calm. It was clear. Sanders wasn't chasing drama anymore. He was chasing greatness. Meanwhile, the Browns, sitting at 1-3, were packing up for their big London matchup against the Minnesota Vikings, hoping the headlines would finally shift from chaos to comeback. We take all on-air commentary seriously. Rex's comments regarding Shedeur Sanders did not meet our journalistic and professional standards. We have addressed the matter internally. Translation? He messed up big time. Multiple insiders confirmed that the network suspended Rex Ryan without pay for 1 week. And here's the kicker. They made him agree to issue a public apology live on air before he's allowed back on Get Up. Consequences delivered, message received. Rookie Dylan Gabriel still had the starter's job locked down, while Shedeur Sanders sat quietly in that QB3 spot. But don't get it twisted. After all that drama, every single eye in the league was locked on him. One breakout game, one bad throw, and the whole Browns depth chart could flip overnight. The tension was real, and every move Sanders made now carried weight. This whole saga didn't just spark memes and gossip. It lit up every sports show, barbershop, and group chat from Cleveland to Cali. Suddenly, everyone was debating the same question. Where's the line between keeping it real and straight-up disrespect, especially when the target's a rookie just trying to find his footing in the league? That's when former NFL receiver Brandon Marshall jumped in on his I Am Athlete podcast and dropped a full-on truth bomb. Rex comes from an era where coaches yelled and called guys out on TV, he said. But in 2025, it hits different. These young athletes have platforms, fans, and families ready to clap back. The power dynamic has changed. And he wasn't lying. The old school tough talk doesn't fly the same way anymore. Even current stars started chiming in. Miami Dolphins receiver Tyreek Hill jumped on X with one simple post. Shedeur handled that like a pro. Silence is power boom. That tweet went viral in minutes. Retweeted, quoted, memed. Players and fans everywhere echoing the same message. This new generation doesn't need to scream to make a statement. They let composure do the talking. Calm is the new clapback. As for Rex Ryan, the man at the center of the storm, he's been with ESPN since 2017, carving out his identity as the loudest voice in any room. A mix of coach, showman, and chaos magnet. And this time, his mouth just might have met its match. But this time, it finally caught up to him. After years of tiptoeing that razor-thin line between bold and too far, Rex Ryan finally crossed it and paid the price. For the first time, his words didn't just spark outrage, they cost him. ESPN had dropped the hammer, and the ripple effect still hasn't stopped. Days later, the storm keeps raging online. Fans, analysts, and ex-players still clashing over whether his suspension was justice or just a PR stunt to calm the mob. Some people are saying ESPN did the right thing. That accountability has to matter when a media giant crosses into personal territory. Others claim the network only acted because the noise got too loud to ignore, that they were protecting their brand, not the player. Either way, one thing's for sure. This mess has turned into one of the biggest media meltdowns of the season. Behind the scenes, the ripple has executives shaking hands and holding secret meetings. Insiders revealed ESPN's top brass are quietly reviewing how their on-air personalities handle young players, especially rookies just trying to build confidence in the league. One veteran producer even admitted off the record the Shedeur Sanders situation exposed a blind spot. We love hot takes until the fire burns too close to home, and this one, it didn't just burn like it scorched everything in its path. Meanwhile, back in Cleveland, Shedeur Sanders is moving like a man on a mission. No distractions, no social media rants, just grind mode. He's showing up early, staying late, and studying film like his career depends on it, because it does. Teammates have been quietly telling reporters that Sanders is cool, focused, and completely unbothered by the chaos swirling around him. One Browns player even told local media, "All that noise? That's not him. He's just waiting for a shot." And judging by the way this story's been building, that shot might come sooner than anyone expects. That calm, collected energy from Shedeur Sanders, it's earning him respect fast, not just inside the Browns locker room, but across the entire league. The guy went from target to trendsetter in record time. Social media has completely flipped the script. What started as a wave of criticism aimed at a rookie has turned into full-blown fan love. People are calling Sanders the silent assassin, saying his quiet clapback hit harder than any press conference ever could. It's wild. The same folks who doubted him a week ago are now out here buying his jersey like he's the next big thing. Meanwhile, Rex Ryan, yeah, he probably thought this would fade after a few news cycles, but nope. The internet never forgets. Every clip, every quote, every meme from that rant is being replayed, remixed, and roasted nonstop. The man's face has become a symbol, and not in the way he wanted. What started as one angry comment on Get Up has now spiraled into something way bigger. Full-on cultural conversation about respect, criticism, and the power of silence. By the weekend, the Rex Ryan versus Shedeur Sanders saga had officially evolved from a TV controversy into a movement. Everywhere you looked, talk shows, podcasts, TikTok, sports radio, everyone was debating the same thing. Was Rex just being old school tough, or did he cross a line that can't be uncrossed? And fans, they weren't holding back one bit. Some demanded ESPN permanently remove Rex from Get Up, saying the network needed to set a new standard. Others fired back, saying the media's gone soft, and that if Sanders wants the spotlight, he's got to take the heat that comes with it. The internet was split right down the middle.
Acts of color for years.
That is correct, yes.
It has been. So when you start throwing out that you don't have the cognitive ability, you're not smart, and they juxtapose that with the guy who's saying you're a supercomputer. You're a supercomputer, but you're lazy and you don't want to put the work in.
And the drama, it just kept growing louder by the hour. Here's the wildest twist of all. While the internet argued, debated, and dragged names through the mud, Shedeur Sanders was doing exactly what he's always done. Working. No talking, no posting, no clapping back, just straight grind. He showed up to practice early, went through drills with laser focus, and ran reps like a man with something to prove but nothing to say. That silent focus, it hit different. Reporters on the sidelines said the energy around him felt calm, controlled, but dangerous, like watching a storm quietly build before it breaks loose. Even veterans started to notice. A few league stars jumped on social media to salute his composure. Former MVP quarterback Cam Newton dropped a simple comment under a highlight reel. Respect. He's doing it the right way. That one line broke the internet. Fans went into a frenzy because when Cam gives props, the league listens, loud and clear. Suddenly, the rookie everyone mocked a week ago was getting love from legends. Meanwhile, things got way messier over at ESPN. Rex Ryan's image took another beating after leaked reports revealed that executives had privately warned all analysts to tighten up their tone when talking about rookies, especially young black quarterbacks. That leak hit like a bomb, shaking the entire sports media world. Conversations about bias, respect, and accountability started flooding every timeline. Insiders whispered that Rex's time as a TV favorite might be running out fast unless he finds a way to reinvent himself before the door hits him on the way out. Back in Cleveland, though, Shedeur kept his head down and his grind up. While others were arguing over tweets, he was in the film room, breaking down plays, staying ready. The story that began as rookie under fire had officially flipped into rookie under control. And in a league powered by ego and headlines, that kind of composure, it's not just rare, it's dangerous. By the time Sunday rolled around, the focus had completely shifted. The Browns-London showdown wasn't just another NFL matchup, it was an event. Cameras weren't just aimed at the field anymore. They were locked onto the sidelines, watching every tiny move from Shedeur Sanders, even though he was still listed as QB3. The silence had turned into suspense, and the whole world was waiting to see what would happen next. Here's the wildest part, Mark. While the internet exploded and everyone argued about who crossed the line, Shedeur Sanders was out there doing what he always does, grinding. No rants, no drama, no pity posts, just pure focused work. He pulled up to practice early, threw with precision, and ran reps like a man carrying something to prove but nothing to say. That silence wasn't weakness, it was power. Reporters watching from the sidelines said you could feel the shift, calm, controlled, but dangerous, like a fuse quietly burning toward an explosion. And people were noticing. Even veteran players across the league started showing love. A few stars jumped online to salute his maturity. Former MVP Cam Newton dropped just one comment on a highlight clip: respect.
But yeah, every time you want clicks, you want to throw the narrative that you're lazy and less than. I can understand when he wants to get a little angry and excitable.
He's doing it the right way. That single word sent fans into overdrive because when Cam speaks, the league listens. Overnight, Sanders went from the kid under fire to the one to watch. Meanwhile, over at ESPN, the storm kept raging. Rex Ryan's reputation took another hit after leaked reports revealed that network execs had privately warned analysts to tighten up their tone when talking about rookies, especially young black quarterbacks. That leak hit the industry like a thunderclap, sparking massive debates about bias, accountability, and double standards in sports media. Insiders even whispered that Rex's time as ESPN's loudest voice might be coming to an end unless he reinvented himself fast. But back in Cleveland, Shedeur wasn't paying any of that noise any mind. He was in the zone, studying film, perfecting mechanics, and keeping that same silent, deadly focus. The story that began as rookie under fire had flipped into rookie in control. And in a league built on egos and viral moments, that kind of quiet confidence is more than rare. It's dangerous. By the time Sunday hit, all eyes were locked on London. The Browns game wasn't just another matchup. It had become the headline event. Cameras weren't just tracking the field anymore. They were trained on the sideline, waiting for one glimpse of Shedeur Sanders, even though he was still listed as QB3. The silence had become suspense, and the whole world was waiting to see if the kid everyone counted out was about to turn the whole story upside down. The buzz around Shedeur Sanders was unreal. It felt like superstar energy brewing right in front of everyone's eyes. Every time the cameras caught him warming up on the sideline or sharing a quiet word with teammates, social media went crazy. Clips racked up views in minutes, fans couldn't stop talking, and commentators couldn't stop mentioning him. You can feel the kid's presence, one analyst said during the pregame show. He's not even starting, but he's commanding attention like he is. That right there, that's it. That's the kind of presence you can't fake. Confidence without a word, swagger without sound, the quiet kind of power that makes everyone wonder, when's his moment coming? Meanwhile, Rex Ryan was still trending, but for all the wrong reasons. Even after his apology, clips of his explosive rant kept resurfacing like wildfire, igniting new debates every few hours. Some fans said his suspension didn't go far enough, others argued it was overkill. But no matter which side they landed on, everyone agreed on one thing. Shedeur Sanders handled the whole thing like a pro. Cool, composed, and unshakably calm. More mature than players twice his age. Back inside the Browns locker room, insiders say nothing's changed for him. No drama, no distractions, just work. Teammates described him as laser-focused, showing up early, putting in hours, refusing to talk about the chaos. One Browns player told reporters he doesn't talk about the drama, he just works. That's it, and that silence, it's not avoidance anymore. It's his signature move. Across the league, players and coaches are starting to realize something huge. This isn't just a story about a rookie or some analyst meltdown. It's about control, poise, and legacy, the kind that doesn't need a headline to make noise. Shedeur Sanders isn't chasing the moment. He's building one, brick by brick, rep by rep, silence by silence. So if you've been following this wild ride, don't blink because it's just getting started. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share so you don't miss the next chapter in this story. See you on the next one.